All right, Sandbox MMA fans, it is time we do an update on the rankings, both pound for pound and the rankings for each division. This is primarily going to be talking about mostly the pound for pound. Then I'm going to go through the updates of each division after that. But we haven't talked about this since UFC 315 on May 10th. There have been a number of changes. It is July 2nd, so I am going to walk through some of the changes that I made, especially with new champions coming around, new contenders making it into the rankings, some big main events that went back and forth either way. And some of the fighters flipped in the rankings, like a Jamal Hill fight. Don't have him up where I had him before, buddy. I'm just going to let you know that. But I'm going to break down what I think about these rankings, where people should be. And I actually don't think the UFC rankings are too bad right now. Think pound for pound's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I think that the rest of the rankings aren't too crazy. They did move Movzar up to a spot that was a little bit more desirable. So I'm okay with that. But let's break it down. We're going to start with the pound for pound because I think that's the ones you want the most. I'm going to start with number 15, and I'm going to go with Nasruddin Imavov. I don't remember who the UFC has right now. I'm going to take a quick peek. At 15 pound for pound, the UFC has Charles Oliveira. Listen, I love Charles Oliveira, man. Huge fan of Dobronx. Think he's the man. Think he's super talented. Think he's one of the top 25 fighters on the UFC roster, but I don't think he's top 15 at this point. I just don't. I'm sorry. Like his record recently, and while it's been against some of the elite competition, his division against Ilia Topuria, right? He lost that fight. Before that, he dominated Michael Chandler. He didn't finish him, but he dominated Michael Chandler. Before that, he lost to Arman Tsarukyan, right? Before that, he beat Beneil Dariush. So he's 2-2 now in his last four. But then before that, he lost to Islam Makhachev. So he's 2-3 in his last five. I don't think you can put him in the pound for pound there. If he can rack up, a win here, if he ends up getting matched up with a Max Holloway pulls off a win, he gets back into the rankings because Max Holloway, spoiler alert, will be on this list. He's a pound for pound guy in both my rankings and the UFC rankings. And you look, and it's the losses he's had are again to like the 1 and 2 pound for pound guys, and then another guy that let's just get to it is number 14, Arman Tsarukyan. Listen, this guy's beaten Charles Oliveira. He should be above him on the pound for pound list. He is on the UFC's pound for pound list above Charles. I think he's one of the better fighters at lightweight. I think he's the best lightweight fighter right now, not named Ilia Topuria. So I'm going to put him up there. I think he deserves to be 14, like a couple second KO over Beneil Dariush, which is really good. Beat Charles Oliveira by split decision, but he beat Charles Oliveira. And I think he is probably the toughest challenge for Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev at lightweight, not including each other, right? Ilia and Islam are obviously the hardest matchups for each other. But the next guy is Arman Tsarukyan there. I do want to go back to Nasruddin Imavov because I actually didn't really touch upon it much. This guy's on a crazy win streak. Crazy win streak. I was thinking about putting a Movzar Evloev on here because he's beaten so many contenders in his division and he's undefeated in the UFC. But the lack of impressiveness with his wins is what kept me out of there. Like, decision to Aldo, good fight, very close fight against a really good guy who was formerly top, 10 in the pound for pound, top 5 maybe in pound for pound. Goes to a decision with him 29-28. Really good win. Really good win over Arnold Allen, but again, a very close fight. Beats Diego Lopez, right? That's another guy in the rankings. So beats Dan Ige. He has a lot of great wins in the rankings. They're just, some of those are just too close for me to say, he's dominating them. He deserves to be up there. And I know Nasruddin Imavov has losses in the UFC. I know he does. He lost a decision to Sean Strickland. I'm going to look at the other losses that he's had. He went to a draw with Chris Curtis. I'm not counting that because he was going to beat fucking Chris Curtis's ass. But you look at this guy's losses, we're going to talk about those first. It's literally to Phil Hawes back in 2021, a long time ago. Literally just got held on the ground the whole time. And to Sean Strickland by decision. Other than that, he's TKO'd Edmund Shabazian. He's knocked out Ian Heinisch. I know it's not a big one. He's knocked out, or he's decision and dominated Joaquin Buckley. He destroys Roman Dolidze. He KOs Jared Cannonier. He beats Brendan Allen, and he KOs Israel Adesanya. This guy's the number one contender at middleweight, which is what I think is one of the best divisions right now. And I really do think he deserves to be on here with the streak that he's on here. He's on a, what is this for a win streak right now? 4-fight win streak, 5-fight unbeaten streak because of the Chris Curtis fight. He's, what is it? 4-2. He's 8-2 in the UFC, and his last win is a dominant knockout win over Israel Adesanya. That's a really good win. He's very and when I look at skills too, he's one of the most skilled guys. He's got a fight coming up with Caio Borralho, and I know I've been talking to everyone about how Caio Borralho is the hardest matchup for Dricus du Plessis. I think he is, but I think Nasruddin Imavov is a very difficult matchup for Caio Borralho. I'm gonna pick Nasruddin Imavov in that fight. I think Imavov is also a very difficult matchup for Khamzat Chimaev, and he has showed us improvement after improvement after improvement. He's the fastest guy at this 185-pound division. I think he's going to find his way to a title at some point soon. So I'm going to pick Nasruddin Imavov here at the 15 spot, and obviously I told you about Arman at 14. Number 13, Bilal. Listen, Bilal lost to JDM, and he's beaten pretty much the rest of his division. That's actually not really any of the guys in the newer up-and-coming guys yet, but he's beaten most of his division. He had a crazy win streak, and then he lost to JDM. Here's the thing is, Leon Edwards was ranked like number 3 pound for pound when Bilal beat him, so you got to keep him up here. Even though he lost to JDM, he doesn't lose his spot. He was still a champion, and he lost to this guy in the division that is, right, he was a tough matchup for him, one of the best guys in the division, but he beat the number 3 pound for pound at the time. And he's also had a really long win streak. Very, very long win streak. Has a very good record in the UFC. Has a very good record overall in MMA. Very, very good fighter. I do think Bilal deserves to be here in the pound for pound, so I put him here at 13. Number 12, this is where I have Max Holloway. Max is a dog, man. And when you look at it, the people that he's lost to are 1 and 2, ranked 1 and 2 in the entire division. Entire division. He's only lost to 2 top 6, top 5 pound for pound fighters. He lost to Volk 3 times. Those are the only guys he's lost to of recently. Like, we can go to Max Holloway's career. He lost to Ilia Topuria, got knocked out. But he made it to the 3rd round when Volk didn't. He made it to the 2nd round. And then you look at Charles Oliveira, and Charles Oliveira got knocked out in the 1st round. I get styles make fights and matchups and stuff like that, but Max made the fight toughest for Ilia. He took a round off of Ilia, much like Volk did. I think Volk was having more success in the 2nd round than Holloway did, but Holloway was a lot harder to get to for Ilia. He was landing a lot of strikes on Ilia as well, and he was taking shots better from Ilia than everyone else. So for that, I'm going to put him up here. He had one of the better losses to Ilia. He also has wins over Chan Sung Jung, Arnold Allen at featherweight, Yair Rodriguez. He's lost to Volk, yeah, but Volk's up here, right? He pieced up Calvin Kattar. He's literally beaten everyone not named Volk or Poirier or Ilia in terms of the past 8 years. Sorry. Other than Poirier, Volk, and Topuria, he hasn't lost to anybody in the past 12 years in the UFC. The other guy was Conor McGregor back when he was a pipsqueak. So you beat those guys. You beat the Yairs, the Arnold Allens, the Korean Zombies. And then you also go up to lightweight and have a win over the number 5 ranked lightweight Justin Gaethje. Or number 3 ranked lightweight, whatever the UFC has him. That is worthy of being... That is the definition of pound for pound. So you have wins in multiple weight classes, and you've proven your skill in the top 5 in those weight classes. That's why he's number 12 pound for pound. Then I'm going to put Khamzat on here, dude. He destroyed... The way he fucking beats people, man. He beat Usman, who is an insanely talented fighter who we saw dominated Joaquin Buckley. Khamzat Chimaev beat him, or drew him, but had a very, very good fight, like, showed a very good I don't know how to say good performance, but He went out there and has a win over Usman. That counts, right? And then he also dominated Robert Whittaker, a perennial top 5 middleweight. He's fighting for the title. And the way this guy has won fights, yes, it's not like the craziest record, but the way that, yes, it is the craziest record, but it's not he's not overly active, right? And his wins are, yes, Usman and Whittaker and Gilbert Burns and, Li Jingliang. And when he beat Gilbert Burns was ranked number 2 in the division. Those are good wins. But you look at them now, it's like, how have they aged? It's like Khamzat was beating them when they were in their better versions of themselves. You know what I mean? But Khamzat's dominating everyone, dude. He's beating everyone. He's undefeated right now. He's going to fight for the title. And when you watch him fight, you can understand why he's pound for pound. Because he dominated middleweight. And now he's up here at, dominated welterweight. And now he's up here at middleweight and dominating middleweight. It's 2 divisions. That's what pound for pound means. And people are talking about this guy being able to beat light heavyweights. And I actually think he can beat a good amount of light heavyweights. Light heavyweight's not that good. I'm willing to bet he can beat a Jamal Hill. I'm willing to bet he can beat a Khalil Roundtree. I'm willing to bet he can beat not my Pookie Bear Dom Reyes, but probably. He can beat a lot of these light heavyweights, dude. I'm telling you. So he's the definition of pound for pound. I'm putting Khamzat on here. He's one of the best fighters in the UFC. That's why he's going on this list. Number 10, Alex Pereira. I mean, he should still be on here. He's got multiple wins in both divisions, became a champion in 2 divisions. He lost to Magomed Ankalaev, the current champ. Other than that, he's beaten Roundtree. He's beaten Yuri twice. He's beaten Jamal Hill. Beaten Jan Blachowicz, so he's got really good wins in the light heavyweight division. Then at middleweight, he also has a knockout win over Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland, 2 top 5 ranked middleweights. The guy deserves to be in this spot. It's really as simple as that. It is. He deserves to be in this spot. Yes, he's not a champion, but, everyone below him's not a champion. He was just a former champion with a number of defenses within a year. Got to still keep some respect on his name, so I'm putting him here at 10. He deserves it. Number 9, I'm going Tom Aspinall. Part of me thinks he should be ranked higher. And I think with a win over Cyril Gane, he jumps up a bunch of spots immediately because all of his contenders he would have already beaten. He's kind of in that Merab situation where he just, racks up wins and he goes up. But it's just the guys he's fought are not that good. Like Pavlovich is a very, very good win. I think Pavlovich is a dangerous, scary, good fighter. But he's not like the most technical. But Pavlovich has wins over a bunch of other guys in the division. Who else has he lost to? Alexander Volkov. But it just so happens Aspinall's also straight armbarred him. The thing with Aspinall is I always considered him the undisputed champion. But he really has only become the official undisputed champion of recently. He did beat Curtis Blades in like a minute. And he's beating everyone in a minute. It's so impressive. But it's just like these other guys, like he should be higher, but these other guys have more wins recently where like their activity is what's jumped them ahead, not Tom Aspinall being dropped behind. You know what I mean? So Aspinall's very good. I expect him to continue to rocket up this list and end up in the top 5 within a year. I think if he stays active, he can very well end up in the top 5, top 3 within a year, year and a half if he gets 3 wins or so. But I got Tom Aspinall here at 9 right now. It's just, yeah, he hasn't beaten the Cyril Gane win yet. He hasn't beaten the Jalton Almeida win yet. And I think that's where we look at some of his more difficult competition coming up. Number 8, JDM. Listen, I love JDM. I'm a certified JDM Glazer. Has a great win over Bilal Muhammad, who was ranked like number 4 pound for pound. But JDM's a new champion, not with defenses. So you know what? I'm going to put him, and I got to explain that with the Magomed Ankalaev win. I just think when you look at the competition that JDM has faced compared to who Ank's faced, Magomed Ankalaev's fought better comp in his division than Jack Della Maddalena has so far. Yes, he has a great knockout win over Gilbert Burns. Yes, the win over Randy Brown is going to continue to age phenomenally. And yes, the win over Bilal was a great pound-for-pound win. But compare that to Ankalaev. And I think these two are the only two that you can really consider for these next 2 spots. 6 through 1, like, are all, you can, I think most people would have them above these 2 guys, unless you're trying to be a fake hardcore and acting like they need to be above them. But I think 6 and 7 and 8 are pretty interchangeable. But the reason I'm going with Ankalaev is the strength of schedule in terms of his division specifically. A Jan Blachowicz draw that he really won versus a Jack Della Maddalena Gilbert Burns win, which is a good finish. Randy Brown win, Kevin Holland win. Those are good for JDM. But then to counter that, Magomed Ankalaev has the Alexander Rakic win, the Johnny Walker win. Those wins are kind of right in the same realm. Trying to think of some of the other wins in terms of the record of Magomed Ankalaev, because when you look at like JDM's, it's like the next one's the Basil Hafez win or the Ramazan Ameev win. I don't rate those as highly as like it's the, what am I going to say, the Ion Kudalaba win. Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Volkan Ozdemir, Nikita Krylov. Those are really, really good wins for Magomed Ankalaev. So I'm putting Ankh just one above him. I think it's pretty fair just because of the level of competition, but I'm not mad if you want to argue JDM above him. But at number 6, this is where I have Volk, and you cannot argue that it should be anyone other than Volk. You can't. You'd be wrong. Because everyone above him deserves to be above him. Because Volk just got his title back and doesn't have any defenses on his second reign. But everyone below him doesn't have the title defenses that Volk has. Self-explanatory, the spot he should be in. The only guys he's lost to are ranked 1 and 2 at pound for pound. You know those two guys are 1 and 2, by the way, so don't act like I spoiled anything. But those are the 1 and 2 pound for pound guys. No doubt about it. So I got Volk here at 6. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. One of the newer champions, yes, in terms of a reclaiming his belt. Yes, has 2 losses in a back-to-back before that win, but they're over the top 2 pound for pound guys. Or they're against the top 2 pound for pound guys. And before that, he had a whole dominant title reign. So that's why he's at 6. 5, Dricus du Plessis. This guy has 2 title defenses so far. Another 3 title wins over Strickland twice and Israel Adesanya once. Really good finish over Izzy. He's going to take on Khamzat Chimaev next. But when you look, this guy also has the win over Robert Whittaker. And he's got multiple title defenses. So that's why he is where he is right now. Next up, I'm going Merab Dvalishvili. Yeah, it's going to be Merab Dvalishvili. I'm going Merab, man. Merab's the next guy. I think you know this. You can argue, that he should be 3, but I'm going to put him at 4 because, and obviously that means number 3 is Alessandro Pantoja. And Alessandro Pantoja deserves his spot, man. Like, he's got more yes, Merab has cleaned out his whole division, but so has Alessandro Pantoja. And Pantoja has more title defenses than Merab. So, and more title wins. So for that reason, I'm having Pantoja above Merab, but these two are neck and neck. You can argue either or, but everyone's argument for Merab is like, dude, he's already cleaned out the whole division even before he got to the belt. Well, so did Pantoja. That's why we were only looking at rematches for him after the Moreno win where he gets the belt. It's like, oh, do you do Moreno 4? You can't really do a Moreno 4 fight because Pantoja beat him 3 times. Well, I guess we'll give him the Royval fight, even though we already beat Royval. Oh, we beat Royval again? Now Royval has 2 wins in a row back-to-back in the top 5, one of which over Moreno, the other which over a surging contender in Tatsuro Taira. We can't give him a title shot because Pantoja already beat him twice. Then Pantoja beat the surging Steve Erceg. Good fight, scrap. Pantoja wins that one, goes to war. He submits Kai Asakura, who they bring over for him. Submits him in 2 rounds. Then he submits Kai Kara France, his next contender. So now you're looking at a spot where Pantoja has 4 title defenses, 5 title wins. Merab has 2 title defenses, 3 title wins, but also has wins over former champions like Petr Yan, Jose Aldo, Henry Cejudo. So that's why they're both above Dricus. Obviously, I think no one would argue that. Even though the UFC pound for pound rankings has Pantoja below him, I think that's crazy. But Pantoja also has wins over the entire rest of the division too, bro. He has a win over Manel Kape also. So he's got those big wins. Merab has the wins over the former champs, yes. But it's just sheer numbers at this point. This is the only reason I have it this way. And lastly, ruined the whole video, JK. You already knew what 2 and 1 were going to be, but maybe you didn't know where I was going to put them. Yes, Ilia Topuria deserves the number 1 pound for pound spot. If Islam goes up and beats JDM, he's going to go back to pound for pound number 1. He is, because he proved it in 2 divisions. But Ilia won in 2 divisions. Ilia beat Charles Oliveira better than Islam Makhachev did, more dominantly. Islam Makhachev wasn't passing to side control. Topuria passed to side control, even had a couple seconds where he got a crucifix. Makhachev didn't do that. He half guard camped. And yes, he ended up getting the submission. Really impressive. Topuria flatlined Charles Oliveira in 2.5 minutes. Flatline, out cold, dominant win. Was beating him up all fight. He's going to go to the 1 spot. And also, I'm putting him there because I think he actually beats Islam Makhachev. I think if they were to fight, I think he wins. I think he can defend the grappling of Makhachev. Think he can not get submitted. Think he can not get caught by a head kick. And I think he chins Makhachev in 2 rounds. He is so damn good that his power is uncanny. That right hand is so fucking powerful, dude. It sleeps anybody. I don't care. He can go up to welterweight and he'll beat a bunch of the guys at welterweight. That's why I'm putting Topuria pound for pound number 1. What he just did was amazing. This is not recency bias. If Makhachev wins, he's going to go up because he got to get another win in another division. But Topuria just proved he's beaten 2 guys on this pound for pound list. Makhachev's beat 1 of them. Or technically he's beaten 2. He beat Arman, but Topuria finished 2 guys on the pound for pound list. Out cold. On the UFC's pound for pound list, he finished 3 guys. 3 former champions flatlined him all within 3 rounds. To Max Holloway, 3 rounds, never been knocked out before, got knocked out. Alexander Volkanovski got chinned in 2 rounds. Charles Oliveira got flatlined in 1 round. We've seen him TKO'd and hurt. Topuria flatlined him with a fucking right hook. Perfectly. He's going to 1 over Makhachev. These 2 need to fight because if Makhachev goes up and loses to JDM, which I'm telling you, I think JDM beats Islam. I do think JDM will beat Islam Makhachev. We're losing the mega fight that is Ilia Topuria Islam Makhachev. We'll see the fight. There will not be as much hype behind it because because Islam Makhachev is going to, again, have to cut weight, coming off a KO loss, going down to fight a power puncher like Topuria. We've already seen him lose. I think Topuria is better than Makhachev. And I think that we need to see this fight before one of them lose. Because if one of them loses before they fight each other, we lose that absolute, the ability of this being a McGregor-Khabib level fight. We lose it. And also, it discredits the winner. Because if one of them lose before they fight, well, they've already lost to someone else before they fought the other guy. So how good really is that win will be the narrative. So I say Topuria Makhachev needs to happen now. We're going to go through the rest of the rankings, guys, really quick. I'm sure you don't care. But the women's rankings pretty much stay the same. I mean, Cortez goes up 2 spots. Kong Wang gets ranked. A couple other people shift down. Women's bantamweight, Kayla Harrison was the champ. That's really the only update. We'll go to flyweight. That changes a good amount. Everyone moves down 1 spot because Joshua Van moves up 11 and becomes the number 1 contender because he's going to challenge Ilia Topuria. I'm sorry. Wow. Please don't challenge Ilia Topuria, Joshua Van. I don't want you getting knocked out, bro. One of my favorite fighters. He's going to challenge Alessandro Pantoja for the belt. And everyone moves down 1 spot. Moreno and Royval are still sticking where they are. I still have Royval above Moreno because Royval beat Moreno. I think the UFC has that flipped because Royval's coming off a loss, but Royval beat Moreno, and he went to a fight of the year with Joshua Van. I'm not going to penalize him for that, so he's going to the 2 spot. Everyone else shifting down 1. Yeah, I think this is fair. We're going to go to bantamweight now. So Merab is the champ. O'Malley, I think, should stay at the 1 spot. You can argue he should be below Petr Yan, but he technically has a win over Petr Yan. You know what? Fuck y'all. I'm doing this right now, bro. I'm putting Petr Yan above Sean O'Malley, dude. Petr Yan technically beat Sean O'Malley. Petr Yan's got 2 wins in a row over top competition. So I'm going to keep him there at 1. I'm going to put O'Malley at 2. I'm going to put Sandhagen at 3 and keep him there. Yes, I understand that O'Malley's lost to Merab twice and Umar once. The first time that O'Malley lost to Merab, it was just as close as the Umar fight was. It really was. I know that the rounds that Merab won were more dominant against O'Malley, but O'Malley also took 2 rounds. Umar took 2 rounds also, so it is what it is. Um, and Umar's also only beaten Sandhagen, where O'Malley technically has the win over Piotr Jan. So that's why I'm putting him up here. He also's flatline, or he's also has 2 wins, has a win over Chito Vera. I want to say 2, but it is what it is. Has still wins over Chito Vera, so that matters also. Yeah. Song Yadong at 5. I think he's the next best. Davison Figueiredo stays where he is. Mario Batista, you could argue at 6 or 7. I put him at 7 just because a win over Patchy Mix. Yes, it was a very impressive, dominant win. He deserves to jump both Cheeto and Rob Font, but Patchy Mix looks so bad, I'm not going to put him above Cheeto. I'm sorry, I'm not going to put him above Figueiredo. I'm not. So I'm going to say Mario Batista at 7 and then move Font and Chito Vera down 1 spot each. This is a little different than the UFC rankings. I have Montel and I have Jonathan Martinez here at 14 because I think Marcus McGee is way better than he gets credit for. I put Vinicius Oliveira here. I don't think Kyler Phillips is that good, so I shifted him out of the rankings, but we'll see what happens, especially when he fights Vinicius Oliveira. Featherweight sticks around pretty much the same, right? Volk, Evloev, Lopez. And featherweight really hasn't sorted itself out much. So I think this is all pretty fair. Lightweight changes dramatically. Everyone moves up a spot because Islam Makhachev is gone. Ilia Topuria becomes champ, though, so he kind of fills that one in. Why did everyone move up? Because I had Ilia ranked as the number 2 guy. So I know the rankings didn't. I had Ilia ranked as the number 2 guy behind Arman. Even though I knew Ilia was better, it's just Arman deserved like the 1 spot. You can't just plug Ilia into the 1 spot, even though he deserved it. Or he's good enough for it. Ilia becomes champ. Islam Makhachev's gone. Everyone moves up a spot because of that. Arman's still the number 1 contender. Charles, even though he lost, he's going to be above Max here. Max is going to be here above Gaethje because he knocked out Gaethje. Charles also beat Gaethje and Poirier. I'm going to put Poirier below Gaethje because Poirier did lose to Gaethje recently. Dan Hooker also recently lost to Poirier, so he's below him here. I'm going to put Gamrot in there. Had a really good win over Ludovic Klein. Is a very, very good fighter. I have Pimlet moving up 2 spots here at the 8 seed over Moicano. I have Moicano dropping 3 spots after that loss to Dariush. It just was really unimpressive. When you look at his wins, it's like Benoit Saint-Denis, who the UFC has ranked at 3, but I don't have him ranked. I don't think he's that win over fucking Propolek said anything. Hanato Moicano, again down here, right? Fiziev moving up 3 spots because his win over Bahamondes is very impressive. Dariush I have moving up a spot. Grant Dawson I have moving up a spot. And then I have Bahamondes, Alvarez, and Chandler. I expect Alvarez to move up to welterweight, so he will be moved at some point, but until the announcement is official, even though his team said it 50 times, until it's an official announcement, I have to keep him in here. Welterweight, right, 1 through 4 kind of stays the same. Usman moves up 2 spots. Buckley moves down 2. They just switch spots with Ian Gary in between here. Ian Gary's win over Prates is a good win, but it's a number 13 ranked win, and he almost got finished in the 5th, so he's not going above Usman for that one. Usman gets to jump up for his classic performance. Buckley moves down because he lost. Kevin Holland ranked 15 because he beat Vicente Luque. And he lost to the 14th Michael Venom Page, so. Middleweight stays the same, no changes here. Nothing has really happened in middleweight to have changed it. Light heavyweight has some big changes. Khalil Rountree I have moving up over Jan Blachowicz, Jamal Hill, and Carlos Olberg. I think his win over Hill was more impressive than a win over, than Olberg's win over Blachowicz, because I think Blachowicz won, but it was a shitty leg tappy performance from Olberg. Blachowicz tried, but they didn't give him the nod, so I'm going to put Khalil up here. I'm going to do that. Jamal jumps down 3 spots because his performance was so bad. Azamat Mirzakhanov beat a unranked, not great fighter in Brenison Hiberio, but he does move 1 over Volkan Ozdemir in my opinion because he's got a win streak going. Ozdemir doesn't. And Mirzakhanov looks better than Ozdemir, I think. And then at heavyweight, Waldo jumps up 3 spots. Who'da fucking thought? We rank Kuniev at 9 because, Waldo I thought robbed Sergey Spivak, but whatever. That's why I'm keeping Spivak where he is. Adding Kuniev, dropping Derek Lewis because Derek Lewis has not looked impressive. The GOAT Gaziev did not drop any spots, so I don't know what that was about. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. These are the UFC rankings updates. And if you did, please like and subscribe.